Good evening, everyone. Just want to welcome you here as for this Monday, June 27, 2022, as I'm going to reconvene our meeting from June 20th as a continuation from that meeting. With that, I'm going to jump right into the new business. And Business A was consideration of an amendment to the Board of Commissioners Rules and Procedures to provide for reading of a code ethics statement at each meeting. And I'll open the floor up to any boards, any discussions on that or comments.
Mr. Chairman, in reviewing the proposed text, there's, I think, potentially some rewording that I believe it needs, that with the board's permission, I'd like a chance to basically rewrite this and provide that to the board for next week or next meeting, please. So I would request that we table this.
Okay. So that we can, so the Board of Commissioners can provide some language in it and then get it back to the county manager for legal review and then come before us again. Yeah.
I think it's been, put off 2 times. This will be the 3rd time. And
Well, I think we want to get it right. I think there's some questions from some of the board.
what are the questions you're seeing?
Well, it's just not written, no offense, it's not written well.
None, thanks. Thanks, I got it right there. So,
I'll second his motion.
Well,
Did
I
you
mean,
make a motion?
Yeah.
okay, all
think
right.
so.
Okay, well, he made a move to table it. Okay, and we have a second.
Yes.
All right. I don't have any further discussion.
and you want this on for our next meeting?
July 18th.
Next
With
meeting.
okay,
Our next scheduled meeting.
okay.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes. We'll move it to the next meeting, and I would suggest that the vice chairman then, or if anybody has got some language adjustments they want to make to it, get it in because.
Mr.
Go ahead,
Chairman,
yeah.
let me tweak it, and I'll send it out to the board, and the board can look at the language specifically.
Okay, because I'd like this then to be the last time then and come before us for a vote on it. Okay, thank you. All right, the next item is the consideration adoption of the county's annual budget for fiscal year 2022, 2023. And I'd ask the county attorney, we've had a few work sessions in the past and come some final adjustments or revisions. I'd like just to kind of hit on the topics that some changes in there that we're voting on.
Yes, since presented at your May 16th meeting, you have had a couple of work sessions, discussed different items in the budget, and this afternoon you had another work session where I think you finally came to some resolution with regard to some items. The first item is with regard to the funding of the sheriff's office salaries for his various positions. The sheriff had made a request or presentation to staff on or about June 7th for a pay classification for his employees. That would increase the proposed budget by $273,390. The board, I guess, has taken the position that it is going to fund that June 7th request from the sheriff. To pay for that request, the sheriff has agreed to a reduction in capital outlay for the sheriff's proposed budget from $627. It is currently $627,037. That would be reduced by the $273,390 to fund the sheriff's pay request. Secondly, an issue the board has been discussing is the funding of the Phase 3 pay study for general county employee salaries. You've had those positions in front of you, and what the study has recommended for modification or change. And so the board has at your work session agreed to funding of those positions as recommended by the pay study, except with regard to the assistant county manager position. We talked about during the work session that would be a $114,022.76 salary. But just to be clear with the board, that really should start at a pay grade of 109, which would be starting at $109,595.12 and after 1 year would rise to $114,022.76, which would be step 3 in that pay grade, and that's the way you all have been reviewing all these positions, is at a step 3 level. So I didn't want to start it at a step 1, and it ends up being much different than the board had an understanding.
Could I make a comment? If the board's in agreement with the pay study for the rest of the positions, I don't understand why we're calling out the assistant county manager's job. If we're going to do it for all, or if they're going to do it for all of them, I think it should be, because we're saying if we had to go out and hire somebody, this is what it would cost. So we're going to go by the pay study, go by the pay study.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Creef,
Next, the finance officer, Sandra Hill, also presented to the board some changes we have received since the budget was first presented to you on May 16th. We received our property and liability insurance premium for the coming fiscal year, and so that's going to be a modification within the proposed budget, as well as there will be a reduction in capital outlay for Southern Outer Banks water system for a project that was estimated at first to be at $500,000, but now it would be reduced to $100,000. It's actually $50,000 is what we think it's going to cost, but I think we would want the budget $100,000 just to be sure. It's a roof project at the Southern Outer Banks water system. And I believe that is all the modifications the board discussed this afternoon.
Mr. Manager, I do have one question,
Yep.
and I guess to address to the chairman as well, or to the board. Based on the salary study and all the different stuff, I being the unique one up here who's a county employee as well as an elected official, is there, if I'm just getting a COLA raise, which every county employee is getting at the minimum, is there a conflict of interest for me to vote on me just getting a?
Yes, I don't think you should vote on your salary as a employee of the sheriff's office. You may, under statute, vote on your salary as a county commissioner, your county commissioner's salary, but I do not think it'd be appropriate for you to vote on your salary as a employee.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask that. So do I need to walk out of the room?
You have to, it requires a motion, does it not, sir, excuse him from voting?
It does require a motion to excuse him.
So, under general statute, he should not vote because he will benefit from his vote,
Right.
from the vote, or his financial benefit.
Of a COLA.
Right,
I'm
right.
just in
So
the
the
COLA
COLA
category.
I mean,
The COLA doesn't, because that's countywide, we've always.
Right. I mean, one way that, one thing the board could do, it's a little unusual, but the board could vote on the sheriff's portion of the budget without Commissioner McCord participating,
No, it makes more sense.
and then vote on then he could return and vote on the rest of the budget.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring that up to make sure it was.
Okay, so let's explore that. Do we want to vote on, because I think this would be good too, vote on the sheriff's portion, on the employees' portion, and then as the budget overall? And the reason I bring that up is, part of what legislative bodies have to deal with all the time is they may not like everything in the budget, the way it's being spent. They may not like everything in the bill. But at the end of the day, we have an obligation to pass a budget.
Right.
And we do the best we can. But at the end of the day, we have an obligation to pass a budget. And so I understand there's some things that I don't like, but,
I guess you might look at it as voting on a complex motion, in that you would vote on a piece that would then become part of the whole to be
It's kind of
voted on
both.
by the board.
So we the first piece we'd excuse Commissioner McCord to address the sheriff's portion of it, and then however that vote goes, then we can bring him back in then to vote on the overall budget.
Yes.
Because that piece has already been
Yes.
decided, other than him.
But I mean, in like, whatever, if you all want me to walk out of the room for both, but I would think in the sheriff's portion of it, I'm not in it at all. So I would think I could vote on that one, but not the whole budget, because the budget itself,
Well, you are included
Yeah,
in
you
the
are. You did get a
sheriff.
pay raise.
in
yeah,
the
but it's a
sheriff's.
COLA.
But that's part of the
No,
sheriff's.
we
portion.
don't, I mean, it's not a
I got you.
distinct COLA.
No, it's.
But
Somebody make the motion, I'll walk out of the room.
But the point I was making is, I understand there's disagreement with the way forward on the employee's salary overall, right? I think it would be, and that's clearly able to be called out specifically. But then at the end, I guess voting against a whole budget because you disagree is certainly the prerogative of any of the commissioners, but I think it would help provide transparency or visibility as to why folks may have issues with that.
Yeah, I think it's unusual. I don't think you want to get into a practice of breaking the budget into parts like that, but
We're already,
Well, I mean, the budget is a whole.
I'm gonna make a
Well-
motion to remove myself as far as the voting on the sheriff's part due to me being an employee at the sheriff's office.
Okay, motion second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Okay, go
then I
recuse
can
yourself.
come back
Then
for
we'll
the
get you
other-
back in
okay.
for the budget. All right, let's let him go get his
Hurry,
bottle of
Kevin.
water. Come on.
New bridges all the time. We build new bridges all the time.
Man, it's always unique. You know?
Right. Keep it interesting here in Currituck.
All right, so what we have then is the first portion of this was the sheriff's budget piece that we talked about and Ike had mentioned. So I guess if there's no further discussions at this time, I'll ask the board for some action on that.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the sheriff's budget with the increase in labor, but the reduction in capital expenses.
And I'll second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Yay.
Okay, motion passes. Kevin, come on back in here now.
And I disagree that we should begin breaking the rest of the budget down. There's a sound reasoning as to why we did that, but I kind of agree with the county.
No, I think we just should
manager.
vote
I
as a
just
whole
think that
budget now. Just-
There's a lot of moving parts to it. and-
There's I agree. I think we just vote on the budget as a whole, so, we had some explanation of the budget now, and, we're voting on the rest of the budget. That's what you're voting on, Commissioner McCord now, because the sheriff's budget's been addressed. So with that being stated, I guess, I'll ask the board for some action on the county's annual budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the county's annual budget for 2022, 2023, with the recommendations of the one salary for the assistant county manager position that the county manager addressed.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Well, there was some other things.
Well, just what I guess what you're referring to is what the items that the county manager had addressed, the
Yes.
changes.
With the modifications.
Yeah, with the modifications as well as the risk, I'm sorry, yes, the risk management part.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes 5-2.
Would you guys like any discussion?
No?
Well, I'd just like to say, as a conservative, I cannot see these high percentages for the top third of the pay study.
And I'll just say, my no vote will stand. If anybody wants to find out why I voted no, they can contact me.
All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. So, budget is passed and adopted. Item C is consent agenda. We have some budget amendments on there.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? At this time, I ask a motion to adjourn from our regular meeting. A motion,
Second.
second from, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
At this time, I'll move into our special meeting for Tourism Development Authority to consider adoption of the Tourism Development Authority budget for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Nothing in there. I'll move for approval. Nothing controversial.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And that's for motion to adjourn from the TDA meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second from Ms. Etheridge. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And I'll ask to, good gracious.
Go.
You got, I'll move, I'm sorry, yeah, okay. Lost my place on the agenda here. I'll move into our special meeting, the Ocean Sands Water and Sewage District Board. First item is to consider adoption of Ocean Sands Water and Sewage District budget for fiscal year 2022-23.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn from
Second.
motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. I knew this was a long work session, budget session. I appreciate everybody's input and their hard work on this.